Hi everybody, it's Tamara from Etcetera's, and I have a fun project to share with you today. We are going to make these cute little envelopes. I call them love notes because they're so easy to make, and you can put little tiny notes inside, reminders or love notes or whatever you want. So these are based off of this gorgeous little embossed envelope that I found. There's two of them, and I got them at a flea market. There were just two there sitting on the table, so I threw them in with my little stash of things that I was buying. And you can see it's a very simple idea. It just opens, and it's got a scalloped edge at the top. Very easy to make. So I made mine out of some book pages because I didn't want to waste these because I've only got two, so that's what I do. I hoard my pretty things. So I'm making my own. So I started out by making a template, and I just traced around the original. So I'll give you some measurements. So this is 2 3/4 inches wide, which is about 7 centimeters. Okay, and then from the bottom to the top, or the bottom of the scalloped edge here, so if you had a rectangle, that is 5 1/4, and that is about 13.3 centimeters. And then you have just a little bit more, of course, to go up. And so from the very bottom to the very top of this top scallop, that's 6 5/8. And that is about 16.8 centimeters, I believe. Now, two more measurements I want you to remember. 2 and, what does that say? 2 and, I think we were going 2 1/2 inches here. That's your first score line, and then 4 3/4. There is a second score line up at the top, and that's to bring it up and bring it down. Okay, so that's super easy. Once you've made your template, and you can use whatever you want. I just happen to have some lightweight packaging laying around, and so I used that so that I can use it over and over. So I'm going to just going to put this along the edge so I don't have to cut those two edges. Anything I can do to get a straight edge that's already there is helpful. There we go. Easy peasy, right? So now I'm just going to cut that out. Good thing I have my glasses on today. And I'm going to show you another way to do this top edge. We'll do a second version after we're done this one. I should have mentioned there's two versions of this project. You can cut each little scallop, or I'm going to show you a much quicker and easier way to do this. Alrighty. So there we go. We've got our body of our envelope. Now, let's go back here. Okay, so I'm going to go with the 4 3/4 measurement first, because I know for sure that one's right. 4 3/4. I'm going to just gently score that. You don't want to go so hard that you go right through. And then the next one, what did I say, 2 1/2? I have a feeling that's not right. I'm going to go 2 3/8. So that's just slightly lower, and that allows it to clear this top edge. And then we just bend. See, that looks perfect. And bend. Ta-da! Cute little envelope. And now I'm just going to sort of eyeball the slit. I don't get too caught up in perfection here. Just take a knife and make a slit in there. You see that? Probably not, but trust me, there is a little slit there, and that is where the top scallop goes in. Ta-da! There. And then I can fill that with whatever, and I can put that in one of my journals. All right, so I want to do another version with you. Let me see if I have one here. This one, I actually closed the sides up. So if you want to make sure all your little notes don't go flying out the edge, we'll do one like this too. Because it's pretty much the same, and you use your same template. So let's use, this one I'll just use a book page, because I've got lots of book innards to use up. Okay, so again, I'm going to place it on there, and okay, I'm just going to go around. And I told you I was going to show you how to do the top a little differently too, right? So we'll go up and down. Okay. Now for this one, let's see, so we're still going to cut straight across the bottom. Whoops, make sure I'm in the shot here. But on the side, I'm just going to come out about, oh, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch or so. Doesn't have to be much. 3/8 of an inch, I'm not really sure. In Canada, we actually use, we use metric for everything. I think there's only 3 countries in the world that still use the imperial system, but a lot of crafting and sewing and that type of thing, we still use inches, so I am familiar with inches and feet and that sort of thing. I just forget sometimes. Okay, so now the top, instead of fussy cutting, I'm just going to use some scallop scissors. These have a nice deep scallop on them, and they look like kid scissors, but they are actual crafting scissors, and they surprisingly cut quite nicely. So I'm just gonna use these. There we go. Oh, I like that actually. It's a nice wavy pattern. Okay, so once again, I'm going to do my scoring. And this you have to be even more gentle. So 4 3/4. And 2 3/8. Yes. Down here at the 2 3/8, put a little tiny V in there, and that gets rid of a little bit of the bulk when you go to fold it. There we go. And then we just, oh, actually, oh, you know what I forgot to do? We should score, excuse me, score that long edge, the sides, because we're going to fold those in and glue them down. There we go. So, okay, so we're going to fold the sides in and then fold up. Ta-da! And then our top comes down. Now, before you do any gluing, don't forget, we need to have that little slit in there. And a good rule of thumb is to like go on the bottom of that very first scallop, so that is inside the slit, right? Now I can't see my markings. Even with my glasses on, I can't see my markings. There we go. Okay, I can see them now. Alright, and again, I'm not going to get my ruler out for this. I'm just going to gently pull my knife across because it's very small, right? And you don't need any big fancy, expensive, strong glue for this. It's just a book page, so a glue stick will do. And just run your glue stick along those two edge flaps that we made. Okay, as usual, my card ran out. I've only got a 2 GB card, and so it runs out really fast. So I have decided today, I have loads of credit on Amazon, and I am going to go and buy a bigger card because this drives me nuts. Every time I do a project, I have to stop partway through and unload the card. So I think we were at the point where I was saying you don't need fancy glue. A glue stick is just fine. And so you just run your glue along those two little flaps that we cut on the sides, and don't make sure not to like make it super flat. If you make it like super flat, it's going to be too tight to fit anything in. So you want like just a little bit of a sort of a buckle in the middle, right? There we go. So now the sides are in, and of course we're going to do a little inking. I used to craft with a friend of mine. I don't know if I told you this story before, but I used to craft with a friend of mine, and this was many years ago when inking the edges and doing vintagey type stuff was sort of just coming into vogue. And I remember once asking her, we were making cards, and I said, "Do you think I should ink this?" And she said, "If you have to ask, then the answer is yes." So I don't know. So I just ink everything. Gives that nice little vintagey feel, right? And if you want, you can even do just, you know, you can kind of bend it at that little slit, and you can put a little ink there so that it's easy to find. And then your scallop goes right in there. And then I'm pretty sure I must have a beautiful butterfly somewhere in here that I can stick on the front. I need a little bit, sort of a smallish one. And again, I'm just going to use my glue stick. I know some people spend a lot of money on glue, but I don't sell my things either, so that's also a difference. I either give my stuff away as gifts or I keep it for myself. I've never sold a journal or ephemera or any of that kind of thing. So if you sell your crafts, it's a whole different game, right? You've got to invest in really good quality stuff if you want to get quality money back for what you put into it. All right, anyways. Enough for that lecture today. Here's the finished envelope with the sides, and I would just find, you know all those offcuts you have of pieces of paper that you've had to cut to get into your journal. Just cut a bunch of those and the right size, and they fit right in there. They're so quick and easy to make, especially if you don't glue down the sides. They're even faster. And you can add them to a journal, like with a big paper clip, or you can stick them into another pocket or a tuck space, whatever you want. Just have fun with it. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gives you some ideas. And thanks everybody for joining me today. and have a really great and crafty day. And make sure to come back because I have a couple of more really fun projects that I'm going to be releasing on video again over the next few days or weeks. So it won't be quite so much time in between videos this time around, hopefully. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.